Right, let's get into our first discussion now. The Safe School and Communities Advocacy Group on Monday held a press conference in Lagos to address the abduction of 6 students from Lagos State Model College, Igbonla Ekpe.
Correspondent Sharon Ejasa reports that civil rights groups are getting impatient and might take to the streets to press home their demands.
It's 60 days since 6 male students of Lagos State Model College, Igbonla Ekpe, were kidnapped. The civil rights group chaired by Adiola Shoton expressed dissatisfaction about the way the state government and security agencies are handling the situation.
These 60 days of great pain, anguish, and sorrow on the part of the parents and the relatives of these children. It is 60 days of apprehension and concern on the part of all of us, well-meaning Lagosians and Nigerians. Sadly to note, it is also 60 days of empty promises, lazy assurances, and a display of gross incompetence on the part of the police, other security agencies, and particularly Lagos State government.
They are asking how many times in the week the cabinet sits to take reports and discuss the progress being made in efforts by the police and other security agencies to rescue the children. What kind of resources have been deployed and are being deployed towards the search and rescue operations? How much progress have been made so far? Has marine security improved since May 25, 2017? They also ask how many times the Lagos State lawmakers met to discuss the Ekpe school kidnap, and what the Lagos State government has done or plans to do to assist the parents and relatives of these kidnapped children, amongst others. Other civil rights activists at the briefing insist that they cannot wait any longer. They vowed to occupy the streets of Lagos if the 6 Ekpe students are not released.
The campaign has started generally. We're going to be going through protests. We're going to be taking action. And in all, too, we're going to be occupying Alausa to make sure that the Ekpe 6 are rescued immediately.
Because we think that there are questions that we need to ask the government, which is that why are these kind of criminalities occurring in our society?
Thank you for joining us and good morning.
Thank you.
Morning. Why is your group making this threat?
Well, it's very clear that the agony and trauma the parents are going through is just a reflection of the agony that all of us are also going through as Lagosians, as well-meaning Nigerians. And the fact that these 6 pupils are still in the den of the kidnappers is more or less a big sign that no one is safe, that all of us are susceptible to the same attack that they are going through, and agony they are going through. And also, it's very glaring that the Lagos State government has been going onto government business in a business as usual manner. There is no clear sign of sobriety or even or restraint to even come out with a public statement, insider information as to what is happening to the boys that are in the custody of the kidnappers.
All right. In this movement, has your advocacy group met with the parents of the 6 boys?
Well, categorically we've met with some of them, but more importantly, you know, a parent going through this psychological trauma, there are a lot of things that crosses their minds, and more importantly, the fact is that they may be unwilling. You know, it's a whole lot of trauma they are going through, or you know, they are between the devil and the deep blue sea. The kidnappers will be in touch with them, of course, and you know the kind of claims they will be making as to how and what they want to be done and all of that. But our advocacy campaign is majorly in a broader view. That is why even by the nomenclature of that campaign, it is Safe Schools and Communities Advocacy Coalition. We recognize the first fact that it is the collapse of social architecture that is responsible for this phenomenon. For instance, Lagos State government has a law called the Lagos State Special Offences Law. By virtue of that, a person like myself as a legal practitioner, if I'm not in this attire, I can be picked on the street. You go to Oshodi Under Bridge, you see vans where people are picked daily and, you know, dropped in Badagry prison. For instance, I handled the matter of a young boy that was 16-year-old, and that boy on his way he wants to go and get, you know, Indomie at night. He was picked up, dumped in Badagry prison for good 5 years.
What is the reason for picking anyone up?
Now, the basis, whenever these people are brought to court of law, the charges they give, they are arraigned on are they are unemployed, they are you know, they are roaming the streets, and they don't have houses of their own. Actually, by virtue of Chapter 2 of the Constitution, the government should be responsible for all those things.
Okay, so don't let us lose focus of the reason of this discussion. That's the kidnap of the 6 boys. So earlier you said you met with some of the parents of these boys. Did you ask them if they would support the movement now to protest, or did they give their consent?
Well, I can't expressly. The parents arguably may not be in that you know, mindset to either give consent or otherwise. You know, I've told you the psychological trauma itself is another issue, but we hold our advocacy on the basis of the consent and even the blueprint or the fact that the social phenomenon that we are confronted with now, which is the kidnapping, even the court groups in Ikorodu and all that, the development of, you know, all these activities, untoward activities in our communities and schools. And we are building a campaign targeted at not only the objective reality of, you know, making government to do the needful in rescue the Ekpesis, but majorly also to do the needful in ensuring that our schools and communities are safe.
Okay, because what we're asking this question because we're thinking that if you are carrying out an advocacy or carrying out a rally or a push to put pressure on government for the sake of the safety of these children or the safety of school, courtesy of the boys that have been kidnapped, you would have added more momentum or added more teeth to your advocacy if the parents of these boys directly have either given you consent or have given you their support to what you are doing. Because if we assume that, well, it's possible they're going through, certainly everybody knows they're going through some trauma, as the case may be. So the public would also like to know, so that they can also see how they can be part of this agenda.
We made efforts. Okay. I'm not saying we didn't make efforts, and we are still making efforts. But as I've said earlier on, the underlying social principle this campaign is being, you know, is being waged, is the fact that we are all in this together. Okay. If one or two or three, 4, 5, 6 boys are in custody of the kidnappers, then my own child, your own child is not safe. So it's the underlying social principle is the guiding, you know, anchor in this campaign.
All right, now your group now, apart from the call to, you know, go to the streets to demand for the release of these boys and for more action from the government and the police, what other efforts has your group made in the past to ensure safer schools and, of course, safe communities? Because why I ask this question, because we are told every time that security is everyone's responsibility and not that of the government and the police alone.
Now, one of the things we work on is education, because mass social education is also very, very important. The need for us to be conscious of exactly what are the roots, causes of the social phenomenon of kidnapping. For instance, I've told you of the phenomenon of cult groups also. What are the breeding grounds for all these things? How can we combat the root causes? And so the question of social education is also very, very one of the major objectives of our campaign and what we are doing also. For instance, in Lagos State now, Lagos State government came out recently to say that all the schools should be shut for the period of vacation.
Well, the government has come out to debunk that there was never an instruction to that effect. That was just a business rumor, that the government didn't say that vacation classes would be closed.
Well, I'm just getting aware of that. But just to add to that too, For instance, I belong to the Education Rights Campaign, which is one of the affiliates of the Safe Schools and Communities Advocacy Group. We have been running free vacation classes in Ajegunle, Nigeria Felodun, you know, which have thousands of pupils over the years have benefited from this effort. Now, that's part of the social education I'm talking about. The need for us to deepen the fact that it is the rebuilding of the schools, it is the revamping of the education sector that can really, end the era of kidnapping, like the Evans massacre situation, and even the situation we find ourselves, and even the era of court groups in which young boys, for instance, in Agege, where I stay, Awawa boys, and even in Ikorodu, where the phenomenon of Bado can be eradicated.
All right. In your advocacy for safer schools, what do you aim to achieve when you hit the streets, for instance?
Very well. We intend to achieve the aim of getting government to retract its focus to the question of rescuing these boys, because it is very glaring that even in Africa, based on our African culture, there is this Yoruba proverb that a child lost is even worse than a child dead. Now, if government is going on with business as usual, and there is no sign of sobriety, or even a sign that something is amiss, then things are wrong. We want to get government's focus retract to the main and primary business of safeguarding the security of its citizens.
All right, let me quickly ask you a multidimensional question, but with short answers anyway. When will the protests take place? Will it be a one-day event? And are you sure that you're going to get enough supporters to be able to go to the streets en masse? Very
well. We intend to hit the streets if, despite our prayers and appeals to the kidnappers to release the boys, and if the boys are not yet released, though we won't pray for that. We want the boys to be released, even if today
for your protest.
We'll be hitting the streets on August 3rd, which is the 78th day. On that day, we would, of course, as for support, we're enjoying the support of the wide majority of people. There are calls on daily basis in support of this campaign. And if you look at the press conference we organized, it was heavily attended by press people and all affiliates of the coalition and the group, and even the wide majority of ordinary Nigerians. So we have the strong faith that we are going to enjoy mass support. As for maybe the protest will be a one-off event, the answer is no. We will continue to maintain and keep up the pressure on government until the boys are rescued. Okay,
Ayo Ademi-Louis, a lawyer and the coordinator of Safe School Advocacy Campaign, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
All right.